Recap in minutes. In today's video, we will be enjoying a thriller drama film, entitled Argo. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie begins with enraged Iranians taking the streets outside the US Embassy in Iran, demanding that the former Shah is returned to face justice. Reza Pahlavi, the former ruler of the country, is given political asylum in the US by President Jimmy Carter as he is dying of cancer. The intensity of the crowd is getting wilder by the minute. It is just a matter of time before they become out of control and chaos erupts. Inside the embassy, the Americans are starting to worry, knowing that they do not have enough security to stop the crowd in the event that they break in. One protester hops over the fence. Once his feet land on the ground, several protesters follow suit. Now the threat of the protesters breaking in has just become a reality for the embassy workers as well as the locals who are applying for visas to leave the country. Once the gate is open, hundreds of protesters storm in immediately, seeking blood. The Americans beg for help as they call all possible agencies that can help them, but to no avail. They are then instructed to burn all the documents and destroy any equipment that can compromise confidential information. Golan Siski instructs his men not to shoot at the protesters but rather hold them. He emphasizes that killing one of the people in the crowd can easily start a war. He just wants to buy them for the embassy staff to be able to destroy any documents that can be used by the Iranians against the USA. The embassy staff is flabbergasted as they need to make a decision now on what to do. Waiting is not an option as the protesters are closing in. 6 of the staff decide to exit the embassy as they have direct access to the street. As long as they are not caught leaving the embassy, they believe that they are safe. Once they hit the street, they immediately look for a safe place to hide. Canadian Ambassador Ken Taylor then welcomes the 6 embassy staff in his residence. Golan Siski gets rid of his uniform and weapon and decides to go outside and reason with the crowd. He is warned by his subordinates as doing so will just put his safety at risk. They are right. His plan backfires right away as he gets captured and is forced to order his men to open the door. This leads to the capture of all the American staff that is unable to escape. News spreads like wildfire worldwide about the fate of the Americans in Iran. The US State Department and other agencies contemplate their next possible move on how to rescue the Americans before they are executed in public. Not just the ones that are being held hostage but including the 6 staff that are lucky enough to exit the building before the mayhem break out. 69 days after the Americans were held hostages in the embassy's compound, there's still no apparent development, and the lives of the Americans are still in jeopardy. This is where Tony Mendez, an exfiltration specialist of the CIA, is called upon for consultation. Mendez reports to his boss, Jack O'Donnell, and is told about the 6 embassy staff that are hiding in the residence of the Canadian ambassador. He adds that they have been tapped to be the consultant in finding a way to break the hostages out of the country of Iran. Mendez is curious why they have not been rescued yet when they are already outside the embassy. His boss explains that the situation on the ground is quite dangerous for such an operation to be successful without proper planning. Jack is also concerned that the hostage takers might find out that 6 managed to escape before they managed to get in. Despite the documents being shredded, there are revolutionaries that are determined to put the pieces back together to get all the leverage they can. During a meeting with the in charge of the operation, Mendez criticizes the proposal to send bicycles for the 6 staff as cars are out of the question. Another party suggests letting them pose as teachers, which Mendez is not fond of as well. He instead suggests giving them a new identity instead, but his idea is also rejected. They all try their best to throw in idea after idea, but none makes sense at the moment. As the 6 embassy staff are debating if the US government should give in to the demand and send over Reza Pahlavi in exchange for the hostages, a helicopter is heard flying over the ambassador's house. They are then instructed to get into the crawlspace for safety. They get to live another day. A brief conversation with Mendez's son over the phone gives him what he believes is a brilliant idea to rescue the 6 embassy staff. His son was watching a movie entitled Battle for the Planet of the Apes at that time, and a specific scene gave him motivation. Mendez shares his proposal for creating a cover story for the 6 embassy staff. Together with him, they will pose as filmmakers from Canada who are in the country looking for locations for a film. He gets objections, but with the backing of his boss, Mendez insists that what he is right now is way more practical than the previous plans presented. Besides, he knows a Hollywood makeup artist that can help him make this happen. The movie then shows that the hostage takers just found out that not all the embassy staff are accounted for. The shredded embassy documents are close to being assembled. Once they are repaired, the identities of the 6 staff will then be compromised, and their location will no longer be safe. Mendez flies to California and meets John Chambers. Mendez tells him about his plan to extract the 6 embassy staff from Tehran with his help. Chambers asks where he comes in. He is then told that Mendes needs his help in creating a fake movie. Chambers likes the idea, but he adds that they need a producer with a name to make the idea more believable. They then pay Lester Siegel, a renowned film producer, a visit. Initially, Lester is cold about the plan, but his demeanor changes when he sees a man who is about to be executed on TV. Mendes is informed by his boss that the other proposal can still be considered unless his idea of creating a fake movie takes the cake. He is given 72 hours to prove that his proposal deserves consideration. Mendes shares his idea with Lester and John about a science fantasy adventure book titled Argo. They then set up a fictitious film production company, but Mendes still wants more, as the lives of the 6 people that they will be helping out will depend on how credible the production company is. With the help of the press and the elaborate table read, a story about their film is published, giving them more credibility. Meanwhile, the hostages are being tagged as spies by the Iranian government. They will remain in the arms of the Iranians until the former Shah surrenders. This puts them in a very dangerous position as they can be executed without trial. Mendes and O'Donnell go to the state secretary to present their idea. While it's not considered the best option there is, the mission receives the go signal. The next step is for Mendes to secure a visa. He goes to Turkey to process one. Despite being questioned why he did not work on his documents back in Canada, Mendes is able to get the approval. It's then revealed that the identities of the 6 Americans have been discovered by the press. The pressure is on O'Donnell to remind Mendes that time is of the essence. In the event that their identities are leaked, Mendes might not have enough time to rescue them. Mendes enters Iran posing as the Argo producer using the alias Kevin Harkins. He then meets the Canadian ambassador, who informs him that their housekeeper already knows that the 6 staff are Americans. He's not sure if the housekeeper can be trusted. Thus, the faster the extraction, the better. The 6 embassy staff finally meet Mendes. They are not thrilled with the idea of using fake identities, as getting caught will just make their situation even worse. Mendes assures them that he'll guide them to make sure that they exit the country safely. He then hands them over some paperwork that contains personal information about their identities. Mendes receives a letter from the Minister of Culture and Guidance with regard to his location scout request. That means taking the 6 staff to a bazaar filled with angry protesters. This move is quite dangerous but can certainly help them maintain their cover story. The visit turns out to be a disaster as they get harassed by an angry shopkeeper after one of the staff is caught taking photos. With the help of an Iranian culture representative, they manage to get out of such a hostile situation. That was a close call that could have blown their cover. Mendes gets a call from O'Donnell ordering him to return back to the US, as the plan has just been aborted. A military rescue of the hostages is the new direction. Mendes is devastated as he got the approval to proceed with the plan, and he already has everything planned out. The next day, he calls O'Donnell and tells him that he'll continue what he has started. They all then head to the airport. O'Donnell knows that all of them will be captured as the mission has been aborted. Their tickets have already been cancelled. Since he can't directly contact the president, he asks another worker to trace the school of the child of the chief of staff. He then calls the official and pretends to be from that school so that the chief of staff answers the school. The plan works as it allows him to force the official to approve the mission again. Mendes and the 6 embassy staff board the plane just when the airport authorities are alerted. Their plane is number 2 for takeoff. Airport police scramble to chase the plane as it's about to depart. When the pilot is given the go signal to take off, the plane begins to move. 3 vehicles try to get the attention of the pilot and even attempt to get ahead, but the plane has already gained momentum. When the plane clears the Iranian airspace, everyone breathes a sigh of relief. All the individuals involved also celebrate when they find out that Mendes and his team have made it. The rescued embassy employees receive a hero's welcome. Meanwhile, the Canadian government receives all the accolades for the successful mission to protect the hostages that are still in Tehran. The Iranian housekeeper, who knew about Americans but refused to cooperate with the revolutionary fighters to protect them, manages to escape to Iraq. The movie ends with Mendes is told by O'Donnell that he is awarded the Intelligence Star, the highest award of merit. The president himself wants to give the award personally to Mendes. He tells O'Donnell that he can take his son during the ceremony if it can be postponed. O'Donnell explains that the event is classified, and nobody can know about it, including his son. In fact, he will be required to return back the award after receiving it. O'Donnell adds that President Carter thinks that he is a great American. Mendes then goes home to his family. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this and help the channel grow.